Hi guys, this video I'm gonna start with a confession. I bet you remember my last video where I told you that I lost a huge amount of money due to attack of hackers. Well, don't judge me harshly, but this really has gone too far. Don't get me wrong guys, I'm really grateful for your support, but I think you deserve to know the truth. Well, I sponsored this rocket takeoff in North Korea, and some of my money also went to the development of North Korean nuclear weapons. What I gotta say, at least this way the name of Atomic Wallet proved itself.
Now let's go through it step by step. During the first day after the hack, there were already suspicions that the hackers from the Lazarus group could be behind the hack of Atomic Wallet. And approximately at the same time I realized that I would probably never see my money again.
Cause you know, there is a small nuance with these hackers. They are not just any hackers, they are hackers who work for the government. For the government of North Korea.
Just for you to understand the numbers, a third of North Korea's military budget is funded through cybercrimes.
So that means that out of every $100, $33 is scam money.
Today you will find out what is this hacker group with the beautiful title of David Bowie's The Song. How is it possible that a country with no internet has an army of hackers? I will tell you whether it is possible to snatch stolen crypto out of the hands of scammers at the last moment. And of course I will tell you all the inside job of North Korean hackers. Now the Lazarus Group, best known for creating the WannaCry virus and hacking into the Sony Pictures movie company, where they leaked a racy interview with Eminem.
When I say things about gay people and people think that my lyrics are homophobic, you know, it's because I'm gay. I am a homosexual. I like men.
Of course, North Korea denied any connection, but it was pretty clear. Also, there were other hacks. For example, one is kinda remake of Ocean's 11 in Asian style. They hacked a bank, stole $80 million and laundered it through casino chips. And it all started back in the 2000s, when in power was Kim Jong II, Kim Jong-un's father. And once upon a time he even pooped out a quote and said, "If the internet is like a weapon, cyber attacks are like nuclear bombs."
North Korea's worst enemy has for a long time been South Korea. Well, not actually for a long time, since 1945 actually, but since 2006-07 they started DDoSing them diligently.
Time passed, South Korea still holds on and the BTS band still performs as well.
So in 2011, when EAR died, EARN changed the policy and put all the efforts of hackers into creating ransom attacks and robbing banks.
And he also added to his father's words, "Cyber power is a universal sword that, along with nuclear weapons and missiles, guarantees the North Korean People's Armed Forces a merciless striking capability."
For the sake of completeness, it is necessary to define what North Korea is in fact.
DPRK stands for Democratic People's Republic of Korea, but to be honest, the words People's Democratic should be removed.
It's like calling the Triple K Clan the organization to defend black rights.
I will not go into the details. You can just watch any video with the marching soldiers or all the devastation, and it immediately becomes clear that while other countries are afraid of the post-apocalypse, North Korea on the contrary is living in hopes of it, like a Viking with the dreams of Valhalla.
It is absolutely normal to meet a man with a plow there. And I will even show you a photo of what plow is, because I bet some of you have already forgot. But only remove the horses from the photo, because horses have already been eaten there a long time ago, as North Korea is not a very rich country.
And just for you to understand how completely world closed there is even an organization where people donate stick drivers or memory cards that are inserted directly into Kim Jong-un's mouse, and then it's all sent to North Korea.
That's because they don't have internet, but you can put downloaded Wikipedia article on a stick and send it to people to give them a little perspective of the outside world.
The DPRK invests most of its money in the army and military equipment, and the rest, well, whatever is left, is used to pay salaries to citizens. When asked how many types of illegal activities you plan to cover, North Korean leaders have always said yes. Even before there were internet hackers, the North Korean state was making counterfeit money and selling drugs, particularly amphetamine, which North Korean diplomats simply smuggled around the world.
Say my name.
Kim Jong-un.
You're goddamn right.
And also they traded in endangered species of animals, like who cares?
The biggest paradox is that the internet is a very rare thing in the country. Only the limited number of people have access to it, and all the cyber criminals are hothouse criminals, in other words, raised inside the country. And it seems like, what can they learn? Draw a perfectly flat circle in paint?
To give you an idea of what the internet looks like in the North Korea, there are only 28 sites, including, for example, the site where the main page says, "Dear comrade, Kim Jong-un sent flowers to someone, congratulations," and other news from the range of very interesting, keep me informed.
And yet, the very process of identifying and training these hackers has been compared to how Olympic athletes are raised. And there is a question: why is this being treated with such sensitivity?
The answer is simple. Regular war requires a lot of money, a lot of resources and weapons. And hacker warfare just requires smart people.
And now take the fact that North Korea is a closed country, always under sanctions and not very rich with resources. So the choice of hacker warfare is obvious.
The selection process is as follows. Those who are good at math are sent to specialized middle schools. Then from there, two universities in Pyongyang choose more talented students and train them in advanced programming. And who would have thought, but these colleges are often even superior to the world's top universities, such as Kim Chae-ok University. It may look like a kitchen grater that has fallen on its side, and in front of such buildings, real Korean endoomers should be photographed. But this university has surpassed Oxford, Cambridge, Harvard, and even Stanford. Then those students are sent abroad, and it turns out that the same countries that they will rob later serve for them as training camps. But of course, to make intoxicating freedom to not confuse them, such hackers are very well brainwashed with all sorts of propaganda. And they all know if they betray the regime, their families which remained in North Korea will not be treated very well. In total, there are several thousand North Koreans who work in the country's cyber program. Some works for the general staff of the armed forces, and others for military intelligence. And what's interesting about the general staff, it even has a department called the Bureau of Sabotage and Enemy Collapse, which is responsible for information and psychological warfare.
In other words, they are terrifying and hacking not for money, but for intimidation. But the bulk of the criminal work is still done by the General Bureau of Intelligence.
Lazarus Group is the best-known division, but there are a number of others, such as Beagle Boys, Hidden Cobra and APT-38. How many people work there is a mystery. They are connected because they use the same malware or the same pieces of code that can be found in Trojans.
So Kim Jong-un has spread his net everywhere he can, One department tried to steal the coronavirus vaccine, and at the same time another department goes and hacks into everything they can in South Korea and even finds a plan that says how South Korea, along with the US, are planning to overthrow Kim Jong-un regime.
Of course, it's still unclear how they did it. That's how crappy it was hidden. I guess they just put it in the plan of attack folder somewhere next to the BTS 2021 concert photos folder. What?
Meanwhile, hackers from another department are stealing my fucking money. Presumably. Presumably, not that the money were mine, but presumably that the Lazarus group was the exact group responsible for this attack. So, this is some kind of international racketeering. In a nutshell, an unspoken rule has appeared all over the world. Where there is money, there are North Korean hackers as well. Those fuckers want to take everything that glitters.
Also, North Korean hackers are expanding and trying to get jobs in big companies. The US government even gave a special warning saying to be careful when hiring North Koreans. So if you were born smart, then the government, like some kind of a thug, puts you on the meter to make you pay.
And now the most interesting. What's going on with the Atomic Wallet? And the thing that's going on there now is that they have closed the comment sections on Twitter because they are saying that's because there are a lot of scammers there. But obviously it's all about trying to hide the disgruntled. Although they say that the wallets were hacked of a negligible number of users, 0.1%, but this is the same as hearing about mobilization in Russia. Then it is even more offensive that out of this tiny percentage of hacked wallets, it was me. Thank you, for fuck's sake, that's comforting.
Of course, there are crypto researchers whose job is to track the movements of crypto. This can be done through the blockchain, which contains solely records of token movements.
And now let's figure out how to throw everyone off your tail if you are a hacker. I will show you that on an example of this $5 bill.
Let's say you stole them. The first option is to exchange dollars for euros at a money changer.
In the case of crypto, this is done through the cross-chain bridges, which means conventionally you can't pay with bitcoins in the Ethereum blockchain and also you can't pay with Ethereum in the Bitcoin blockchain. And so hackers can exchange Ethereum for Bitcoin, which actually they did.
But now it's still 4.5 euros, which is directly related to your criminal $5, and the money changer remembers you. So it's advisable to change your euros for some stranger's clean 4.5 euros.
In the case of crypto, these are mixers, where your crypto is mixed with other people's crypto, and you get the same amount back as before, but the tokens can be anyone's else.
You can send your tokens to the mixer as many times as you like, and after that it will be hard to track them. The favorite mixers of the North Korean hackers are Blender and Tornado Cash. So favorite that the US put them under sanctions, and the head of Tornado Cash was prosecuted for assisting in money laundering. But here is one thing. Even after the mixer, you can see that the same wallets being funded that have already been identified as belonging to North Korean hackers.
So in your case, and if you remember you stole those $5 from a homeless man, they traced you to the mixer, where you exchanged your $5 for 4.5 clean euros, and your trail disappeared here.
And how to catch hackers in such a case? Considering that this money will be used to buy rockets and Rolls-Royces for the ruling elite, it will have to be cashed out. For the hackers, the final step is to turn the crypto into cash, and for the owners of the stolen crypto, it's now a tiny chance to get it back. And it all turns into one long game of peekaboo. The hackers' aim is to keep sitting on the money and waiting for people to stop looking at it. The currency that North Korean hackers are mostly cashing out is the Chinese yuan.
And now it depends on which exchange they will try to cash out my money. There is a small chance that they will do it on the exchange, which can be reached by me and ask to freeze the funds. But again, the probability of this is not very high. Most likely, I am unlikely to see my stolen crypto again, because Atomic Wallet is silent and doesn't even respond to my messages. And now other structures, which are connected with the US, are working on how to prevent Korea from spending this money.
Although North Korea is showing up like, look what missiles we have, but they don't want anyone to know how these missiles are made. Because when Korea tested a nuclear bomb in 2006, everyone was shocked. How the fuck could this small island country make it? So now the US, and not only the US, is looking through a keyhole to see what else North Korea is doing. And they even managed to get on the trail. For this purpose they looked not at DPRK missiles, but at what is under them. And the missiles are carried by a 16-wheel truck like this. And this is where it gets interesting.
Tourists in North Korea are not really allowed, so you can't just go there and take pictures. And even if you come there as a tourist, you are required to walk around with 2 spy guides. As for taking pictures, you will get fucked even if you take a blurry picture of the monument of North Korean leaders, so there is absolutely no chance of finding out where Lazarus is sitting. That's exactly why an open source plus a lot of free time creates miracle.
All you need is 2 seconds of video propaganda, the pattern on the window, and a lot of time to compare the buildings to which such huge vehicle could pass. So they found a warehouse which is the same size as weapons depot. These vehicles are also bought with money stolen by Lazarus, because such stuff costs hell of a lot and they cannot be assembled in North Korea. And in general, it is much more difficult to assemble them than to assemble missiles. That is why the North Korea buy everything, from the fire trucks and construction equipment to oil tankers, and convert it all for military needs. What do we have in the end? 273 cyber attacks over a 14-year period involving North Korea hackers have been analyzed. And it turns out that the information theft accounted for 70% of them. They steal not only money to build themselves missiles, but also information about other countries' weapons and defense systems. And what do you think that's for? Certainly not to read as a bedtime book.
The hackers are in no danger, because they are in a closed country and no one can extradite them. The only option is that North Korea undergoes regime change, but this is as unlikely as it could possibly be.
Cyber espionage as the meaning of life, or even as the meaning of survival of an entire country, is the philosophy of the North Korea.
But I hope that the truck that the North Korean regime bought on my money will lose its wheels while it's driving, and the rocket they will build won't take off. It will be the small but nice compensation. And that's it for today. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, ring the bell, put your thumbs up, write a comment on what you think on this topic, and as always, see you in the next video.